All right, good morning and welcome to Monday morning. It is On Point with JP and Dr. B, and today we're going to be talking with Dr. Clothier about Am I Sick? And we're hoping that you're not, but we need to kind of discuss what do you do? What is protocol if you are sick? Should you go to that Christmas party? Should you go to see your family? Well, if you want to wipe everybody out, not a bad idea, I guess. But if you're not wanting to pass that on, you may not want to. So tune in this morning for that. We're going to be talking the Zaxby's Bowl as well, the Heart of Dallas, and that's going to feature the University of Washington versus Southern Miss. That should be a great game. We're going to have them on at 6:30, then at 6:45. We're going to talk with Brian about the emotional roller coaster that you can end up on if you're not careful when you're dieting and exercising. So stay tuned. All right, we are live.
I should have copyrighted that phrase, wipe them out. So.
Wipe them
Yeah.
out. The Dr. Clothier experience.
Yeah.
Wipe them out. Give them the flu. Take care of business. That's funny. All right. So at the end of Dr. Clothier's first segment, we'll give away one of our deals there. You want to pick for us, Dr.
Oh,
Clothier?
sure.
A ticket out of there?
Just pull
Just pull one.
one by one. All right.
There we go. Dr. B, you want to pull one?
Sure.
So that one will be our first $50 gift card to All Smiles Dentistry.
Very
Callie,
good.
you want to pull the last one?
Sure.
And then Dr. B will give away another $50 gift card to All Smiles. And this will be our family 4-pack. So Dr. Clothier, do you want to be the one of good news there and I'll prompt you to
Sure. On the first one?
Yeah.
So this is a $50 gift card?
to All Smiles Dentistry?
Which
Okay.
one's mine?
You got about 3 minutes. Family 4-pack.
Legoland or Sea Life?
We're doing Legoland because I think we only have like 2 Sea Lives left.
You
You're
gonna
going to
give
mention about
Sea Death away?
Huh?
You gonna give Sea Death away? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
the successful blood drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was just.
Well,
Yeah,
do
sorry
you-
I couldn't make it by. I was coaching a basketball tournament and just couldn't fit the time in there, but we were over in Elite,
Oh wow.
other side of Fort Worth.
Yeah,
So.
you were kind of gone.
Yeah. Yeah, would love to come by. It looked like it was pretty incredible.
You know what? It really was. They said next time we should request a 4th bus.
Interesting. Wow.
Because we had
Incredible.
we had to turn people away.
Oh, there's blood everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rolling in
That's-
the aisles.
Yeah.
Or at least keep the computer working on all 3 buses.
Well, that's a
Did they
small
get
but
that
attainable
going?
goal, I would think. Yeah.
We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
We had one that was down for a while.
Is that
And,
right?
They couldn't get the computer running
Did they
for some
eventually
reason.
get it
Yeah.
back
Well,
up?
Yeah.
yeah, it just seems like some things could be simpler without computer, you know? Just
Yeah.
blind people have drawn blood doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily require a computer, it sees, but
Hey, Callie,
Yes.
I'm going to have you step out and call this gentleman from ESPN
Okay.
and get a good phone number to get a hold of him at, so we can call him. Gmail. Robin.
Somebody was asking, couldn't we just have the form printed off? and
yeah. Yeah, no
No,
kidding.
gotta
They
do
couldn't.
it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's just, I think we're held captive sometimes by the technology side.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not a backup plan now.
His name is Brant Ringler, and there's 2 phone numbers down there. So I would try the one for the Zaxby Bowl and see if you
Okay,
can get a hold of
just
him.
ask what?
I tell him, do you want to call in at 6:30? Do you want us to call you at 6:30?
Okay.
You can take my phone. You just hold the phone number down and it'll say call.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
We got
play some games.
30 seconds.
Okay. Are we mic checking or anything?
We've
Or
checked
is
your mic
on?
already.
Okay, great. We're all on. Except now I'm tangled. There we go.
Ten seconds. Well, good morning, DFW. I'll tell you what, it's Monday morning and it's bright and early, and that means it's time for JP and Dr. B. Good morning, Dr. B. How are you?
Good morning, JP. I'm doing well this morning. It's a bright morning out there somewhere.
It's a bright morning out there. Somewhere the sun is out, and I'll tell
That's
you what,
right.
we got a little sunshine here in the studio with us. We got Dr. Norm Clothier in studio with us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Clothier.
Good morning.
So a little sunshine indeed, you know, because Dr. Clothier is going to shed a little light on the subject of, am I sick? Really, you know, is it hay fever or allergies, or can you get hay fever here, Doctor?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
have
know.
hay somewhere.
We have
Yeah,
hay
hay
somewhere.
somewhere.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you could get hay fever here, but hay fever or allergies, or do I really have something that I could pass on and wipe out? I'm using his term, by the way. I'll let him coin it. Wipe out the entire party.
There you go.
And so we're going to get on to that, but before we do that, I want to thank all the folks that came out to the blood drive on Saturday at Poor Richard's Cafe. They're on Avenue K. I'm going to tell you, we had 3 buses out there. Of course, your big worry always is, will everybody show up, or did we waste a bus? And we didn't. In fact, we could have done 4 buses. We had over 136 people attempt to give blood, and we had 112 units that we netted out of it. What a great, great showing. We wanted to hit 100 people, Dr. B, and we hit over 100.
You know, we really need the blood. I appreciate everybody doing that. That is a true gift. Absolutely.
Boy, really, especially for kiddos with cancer, Dr. Clothier. I'll
Yes.
tell you, I found out over the weekend that those poor kiddos, they'll go through, 18, 19 units of blood and platelets and all of that
Oh, easily.
for a transfusion as a result of the chemo killing. I didn't realize it killed the cells so harshly in the bone marrow.
Right, it depends on the type of chemo, but, the goal of chemotherapy is to kill rapidly growing cells, and of course our bone marrow and blood cells are turning over every day, so that's sort of the side victim at times if it's not leukemia. But it's, it's a serious issue, and we need the blood. We need all the donors we can get, really.
It seemed to me it was almost a celebration out there, though. A lot of people visiting, catching up with old friends and that while they're waiting to give the gift of
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, there was even dancing going on. I saw on Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was dancing. That's right. Well, and the other cool part about it was we even had people respond that are our listeners that are also going through chemotherapy, some adults, and have come out and just wanted to give him a hug and gave Josh a hug. I will tell you, I don't know if all of you saw it when we were out there, but Josh was tired by the end of the day.
Sure.
We kind of wore him out, but the community support that he had was fantastic, and I want to thank the On Point team for coming out and being a huge part of the blood drive for Josh Allen as well. So it was
Couldn't miss
fantastic.
that one.
Yeah, just can't miss it. And then also, don't forget, folks, we are going to draw this morning for our 2 recipients of our All Smiles $50 gift cards, and we're going to draw for our family 4-pack to Legoland Discovery Center. So tune in on that first break. Right before the first break, Dr. Clothier has got good news for somebody out there in radio world, and we will get those tickets to you. So, but let's get underway and start talking about family health. This is brought to you by Family Healthcare. Pardon me, it's Monday for sure. Family Healthcare Associates. And Family Healthcare Associates, they have a doctor for all of your family needs, from prenatal to seniors. Family Healthcare Associates at FHCATX.com. That's FHCATX.com. So, Dr. Clothier, you're telling me that I'm blowing it if I go to a party and I have the flu.
Well, not necessarily. It depends on the people there and whether you want to make them sick. So, now I'm in favor of keeping people well, so actually that's not really true. But I think I get a lot of questions this time of year as to whether, people say, am I contagious? Am I sick? Is it okay if I go, to the company Christmas party, or go visit my grandmother, or go see a newborn baby? And I thought we'd just go over some reasonable criteria to look at for that. One is, if you just have a cold, you are contagious at some point. The challenge is you're probably contagious before you actually get symptoms. And that's why the whole community tends to get illness symptoms at once. We'll have a weather front blow in, and everybody will kind of get the sniffles and a little bit of a sore throat, and it passes over 2 or 3 or 4 days. And that's not something you probably are spreading to people around you, because it probably is just viral that blows into the community and everybody kind of gets it at once. Now, if you stay congested a few days, you can get like a sinus infection or a bronchial infection, because when mucus sits stagnant in the body, it tends to get infected with something else, what we tend to call a secondary infection. And that more often tends to be bacterial, although it can be viral. But if you start to get kind of thicker colored mucus, yellow or green, if you start to get a little trace of blood in mucus, sometimes that means a little more infection. And if you just have a persistence of symptoms. So we usually encourage people to give it 3 or 4 or 5 days, see how they feel at least. And if things really hang on, that may be more the bacterial type infection. And typically that will be facial pressure if it's sinuses, productive cough if it's a bronchial infection. And, you know, if you're not running fever and not really sick, you can kind of ride that out. But if you feel like you have fever or you're just getting worse, you really need to pay attention to that.
So anytime you have fever, obviously you should stay home, not
Yes.
go to the party. But not having the symptoms but being contagious before, is there any way to know about that?
Not really. No, you know, we always see illness in the wintertime more than like in the summertime classically, and that's purely because viruses and bacteria tend to like certain weather conditions. So when people are out when a weather front hits, or when people live in an area where a weather front hits, they can get sick, you know, just from breathing in the air. There's also a theory that if we're in cooler weather and stay inside more, even though things blow into town, we'll then be around each other more to where we can infect each other.
That makes sense as well, that we're in closer proximity, so it's easier to spread it for sure. Well,
Yes.
let me ask this, and it may be kind of a strange question, but I was just thinking, what if you go to a party, is there any way to bolster your defenses before you go? You know, it's kind of like defensive driving.
Yes,
I can take care of
absolutely.
myself, but I don't know what the other
Well,
person's going to do.
There are issues, and the challenge is, again, you don't really always know somebody's sick before they're sick. I think back to the time when I was coaching one of my sons in a basketball game, and he was feeling fine, perfectly normal looking and everything through about the third quarter. I called a timeout in the middle of the third quarter, and he had goop coming out of his eye and had an obvious pink eye. And I can tell you it wasn't visible 5 minutes before. You know, and that tends to be a very contagious issue. So, you know, I suddenly was trying to think of ways to kind of hide his eye and, you know, keep from irritating the other people. But, you know, it just can hit suddenly. So the best thing to do is good health in general. Exercise and nutrition always works its way in, you know. And then, of course, wash your hands a lot and really try not to touch your hand to your eyes, nose, and mouth area if you can. I personally, my eyes are kind of itchy this morning. I keep wanting to kind of rub them, and I keep thinking I can't, you know, I really shouldn't touch my eyes too much because you can spread infection that way by picking it up from someone, like shaking hands, or even from money, for instance. That's been shown that bacteria can transfer on money. And so you want to keep your hands away from your face where you can, wash them a lot, and just keep a reasonable distance. And if someone coughs, you know, we kind of tend to tell people cough into your elbow or onto the back of your hand or into a tissue. Try to keep that propellant force of the cough from going out into the room. And of course, you can't control somebody else coughing everywhere, but you can, you know, if you see somebody coughing, I'd say avoid them. You know, I think that's a fair thing. But we do talk often about fever and trying to wait until 24 hours after a fever. Or if you're found to have a bacterial infection, wait till 24 hours after you've been taking antibiotics to reduce the contagiousness factor.
So when you start taking antibiotics for bacterial infection, how long does it take to get into your system to really make an effect?
The peak effect is at 72 hours. It really takes about 3 days to get a true serum level, blood level of a consistent antibiotic coverage to kill out all the organisms. But after a day, we tend to consider people not to be contagious. So it'll inhibit the spread, but it won't necessarily kill it all out for about 3 or more days.
All right, well, folks, we're about to go to break. And before we go to break, we want to announce our first winner of our All Smiles Dentistry $50 gift card from Giving Blood on Saturday. Dr. Clothier, who's our winner?
We have Elizabeth Elsie of Allen, Texas.
All right, Elizabeth Elsie, congratulations. You are a recipient of a $50 gift card to All Smiles Dentistry.
All right, congratulations! Thank you for coming out and giving blood. That was that's the best gift of all.
Boy, that really is true, I'll tell you. Well, folks, we're going to run to break. When we come back, we're going to continue talking with Dr. Norm Clothier in regards to, am I sick and really should I probably go to work today even, or should I go out to that Christmas party or to my family's home for Christmas. So stay tuned. We are KEXB 620 AM.